Welcome to the garden I've dreamed of, where wisdom gathers, where grandmothers listen, and their voices collective weave hope for generations. Can I tell you my favorite place? It's where stories are told through the skill of our wonderful Sandra Lobb. Can you hear the echoes of their experiences resonating with yours? I invite you to explore them. What a joyous time it has been for me. What a joyful gift we can bring to each other and to the mothers and the children yet to come on our precious home, here on our dear Mother Earth.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Lewis, grandmother Suzanne Lewis, the Star Rose of Idaho, and I'm the co-founding visionary for the Global Grandmothers Council Network, which we began in 2019 on Facebook. Today, I just want to start out with what is the Global Grandmothers? And it is a group whose, I'm going to read it because it's much better. Suzanne's lifelong devotion to cross-cultural indigenous wisdom, the sacred feminine, and planetary peacekeeping responded to the call and to show up. Simultaneously, Brooke Medicine Eagle, Earthkeeper, advocated that the time was now for the grandmothers to gather globally to lead the way for these challenging times. Global Grandmothers Council Network is deeply committed to the care of Gaia, Mother Earth, and to embracing healing and transformation for all the generations, past, present, and future. We hold all life forms sacred, our ancestors' wisdom as treasures, and are building bridges to embrace the multiplicity of ways we may enrich our families and communities. We hold this sacred trust. We are a global community of grandmothers and women fostering unity to share knowledge and experience that transforms legacy of separations into pathways of connection. Currently, on Facebook, we have 55,000 women around the world, 30 countries represented. But to what we're doing today, we're tending the roots. And from 12/12 to 12/21, the solstice, we have 10 days where we're honoring the grandmothers who are channelers of their ancestors' ways and are courageously willing to show up right here, right now, because if the grandmothers will speak, the earth will be healed. And so I'd like to share with you Sandra Lobb's introduction to today's grandmother, Becky Long. Becky. So here's Sandra introducing Becky, grandmother.
Okay, thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you to grandmother Becky Big Canoe for being with me today and with all of us. I want to tell you about grandmother Becky Big Canoe. She has written and developed a system called the Kinship Way. She believes this wisdom was given to her by Spirit as a tool humanity can use to organize ourselves coherently on a local and global scale. The Kinship Way helps to connect us to each other and to the earth and the lands and the waters. And in the Kinship Way, no matter our race, religion, our country, we all belong to the human family. Grandmother Becky is an advocate for natural building, the health of the water, the safety of Indigenous women, and for the return of the wild rice to her home territory. She'll tell us more about all of that. And the Land Trust she's recently founded Grandmother Becky is a grandmother to two boys and a little girl, and she hopes for a very good future for all of them, as do I, for all of our grandchildren and the coming generations. So please tell us more about what your offering will be for tending our roots and anything else you'd like to add.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm really excited to get this chance to be a part of Tending Our Roots and speaking to the worldwide grandmothers. Grandmothers, I greet you all with love and respect, honor, and, just an understanding that in our stage of life, we turn to look at what's going on in our world and what is affecting our grandchildren, and our hearts go in it. And we want to do something that makes it better for all of them. So the whole world got kind of shook up in the 2020 there, and it made a lot of us stop and really think about what's going on in our world. And I had to reflect that the situation was not helped by the fact of the way our governments work. In fact, they seem to take a more totalitarian stance in order to make us all do what they wanted us to do. And so worldwide, we were suffering the same predicaments. At the same time, I've been kind of like a unofficial student of our ancient clan system among the Anishinaabe. And what I know is that this clan system was practiced by many indigenous people all around the world. And it was our original way given to us by the Creator. And as we were encroached upon by colonialist forces, one of the first things they did was try to take us away from that clan system. And that in that clan system was our strength. So I was reflecting upon that and how back in the days when we had that, we had these lines of strength that ran through our communities, through our affiliation to clan, which made us like brothers and sisters if we were of the same clan, and also gave us knowledge of what our responsibility to the whole was, whether it be as a peacemaker, a medicine person, an educator, a diplomat, a trader, a storyteller. All of these roles were somewhat dictated by where you were in the clan circle. So I took that idea and I extrapolated it out so that all of us in this world could be included. And in this way, we can start to meet together, develop coherence in our needs and wants, and what kind of contribution we can make to making a stable society. A society determined by ourselves so that we see ourselves reflected in what's happening. And we need to meet with all of our neighbors, whether they come from this corner of the world or that. The fact of the matter is the world has become multicultural everywhere. And rather than see us silo and enclave together, we need to get to know one another. And the Kinship Way provides the structure for that. So I'm really excited about this chance to talk deeper about it and show everyone how it can provide like a multidimensional platform that we can all give our contributions to, from our youth to our elders, and we'll all be equal in that circle. So thank you. If you can join us, I'm not sure what day, but Sandra will take care of that. But thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Grandmother Becky Canoe. Can you tell us a little bit more about where you're from? What are the lands that you're speaking to me now from? And a little bit about this land trust. I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, I'm situated in the Great Lakes region of Ontario, like in the southern portion, actually on the unknown Great Lake, which we call Great Lake Simcoe. And I'm a member of the Chippewas of Georgina Island, and I live here on the territory. I live in a little straw bale home, which I just love. We founded Minoaki Land Trust. Minoaki means the good earth. A couple of years back, because there are many, many, many of our people who were disenfranchised by the colonialists structures that they imposed, and that meant that they were landless. And many of our people are now urban, and they don't get out on the land like they would like to. So we are in the process of receiving donated lands for the purpose of enacting grandmother councils to steward those lands, to provide for the communities what they need. And so we call it land back in a good way. And we expect that through the provision of land, we'll see some cultural revitalization happening amongst our people. That's our hope and wish.
Wonderful. The connections that you're speaking of, we all desperately need right now, urgently. I thank you so much for telling us a little bit about what you do and who you are, and we are looking forward to gathering from you this wisdom about the Kinship Way during our tending our Roots Week of Grandmother's Wisdom. Thank you so much, Grandmother Becky Canoe, Big Becky, Big Canoe.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're gonna have a good laugh too.
We will. If anything, we must have some big laughs. We're gonna need it.
How exciting. One of the original visions that many of us shared initiating the Global Grandmothers Council Network was of the globe, and that there would be these light centers, these council centers all around the world. And Becky, I can hardly wait to listen more.
Thank you so much, Grandmother Suzanne. That was fun to watch that. Wow, here we are, and I have to send out my greetings to all the grandmothers, acknowledging the full moon today. Very significant one, the last one of this calendar year. And birthday wishes to Sandra Law. Today's her birthday. Yeah, so wow. I have to center myself. I'm so excited to be here today. Okay, yeah, so I want to talk about the Kinship Way because I really see it as the kind of structure or vehicle we all need together so that we can all give our very best toward, oh yeah, that's cool. Woo, smudge time. To making our world better, to healing the earth, to encouraging peaceful relations amongst people, and getting us all connected back to Mother Earth. So I've been trying to work at this for about a year now, approaching different avenues to try and get it out there. And I'll be working on a book, an ebook, which I hope can be translated into many languages eventually. But essentially, yes, the Kinship Way is modeled somewhat after Indigenous people's ways of the clan or totem system, which basically means family. And in this conception of it, I came up with using 12 kinship groups and identifying them with the following designations, you might say. The first would be the Thunderbird group of kin, Thunderbird representing the air and the power of the Thunderbird, its legendary power. And second would be the oak tree to represent the earth realm. And third would be whales to represent the water realms. And then using the 4 colors of the medicine wheel, red, yellow, black, and white, there would be one of each of those in the Thunderbird, oak tree, and whale. So we now have like 12 kinship groups. And I think we may be able to begin using the slides, but I have prepared some slides. My friend Adrienne prepared some slides that are used to illustrate what I'm talking about, because it isn't always easy to conceptualize a new style of governance when our minds are already full of the kind of governance we're in right now, which is called the Western democratic model. So it's kind of important to set that aside for now and think about this new way of governance where Every person has a place in a circle that contributes to the greater circle's understanding of what they want and need. So, um, I have to put my glasses on. Purpose, spirit, and heart. So this would be inclusive, self-determining, and participatory governance. Um, the social organization of the Kinship Way is to have the kinship groups, and there'll be 12 of them, and they are advised by their stage of life advisory councils, which would be including of youth, childbearing age adults, older adults, seniors, and then elders. All right, and then you would add to that the context, the place of where you are in the biosphere or on the earth, what is your bioregion? And you would be very much related to what watershed or body of water that you lived dependent upon for your water source. Okay, the next one. Okay, so we have a organization to the slides here. So if we go to the next one. Okay, so as we said, it's inclusive and participatory, and everyone is responsible to help create the society we want to live in. And everyone has a supportive social network providing avenues for engagement. So yeah, so what you would do is if in your community, everyone knew their kin group, they would have their own council or meeting house where they could meet together, and then they could also form into their stage of life groups, because everyone at their stage of life has different concerns in terms of what's happening in society, and yet no one should be ignored so that everyone's views are included. Then what happens is each of these groups overall picks a head man or head woman or lead man and lead woman who can best represent them in the overall kin council, which be composed of all 12 of the kinship groups sitting in a council determining what is best for the community. So next slide. So as we said, the designations of the kin groups recognize that we live in a three-realm environment, being the sky, the land, and the water. So, and then the sun provides the fire, the energy for all of this. So we have to recognize these realms in order to care for them. Next slide. Okay, I'm having trouble reading. So according to Google, these life forms are universal, or at least they exist worldwide. The raptor, the oak, and the whale are all keystone species in their ecosystem. The thunderbird represents power. Some type of raptor exists in every continent. Often their migratory path spans continents. And raptors are predator keystone species, controlling the overgrowth of populations. The oak tree represents resilience. A type or species of oak exists on every continent. The oak is a keystone species providing food and shelter to all kinds of insects and other animals. And the whale representing wisdom. And there's a type of whale in every ocean. The whale is a keystone species as its feces feed the plankton that is the foundation of the ocean's food chain. So when we realize that we have all of these realms covered, when we look at tackling the issues that we face in each of these realms, we often don't know how to organize ourselves to do the fighting, like healing of these things. I'll say healing instead. But if you're a Thunderbird kin, then you automatically know that your designation is to look after the air. Same thing with the tree. If you're a land person, you look after the land. And if you're a water person, you look after the water. Next slide. So here we have some Anishinaabe teachings on the medicine wheel. Besides the sky above and the earth below, everyone on earth stands in the center of four directions. So these are things we all share, these wisdoms. Next slide. It can be incorporated in as we learn how to use the system. So we've got times size of the word. Anyway, we have the 4 directions and the 3 realms, and with these we can start to organize ourselves to be effective agents of change and stability in society. Next slide. Each of these kinship groups can be designated to care for one aspect of society. So that means it's their responsibility to ensure accountability and transparency, and that it continues to work well for the benefit of all. This slide illustrates how the kinship groups sit together in community, and then how we would deploy them so that they would be completely random and therefore fair for everyone. That's the way we would pull that off. I think we'd need some computer savvy people to figure out how to deploy the numbers and then do the random draw and then set up the websites for people to go and check into once they've got their designation. Next slide. Okay, so here's the basics of how kinship groups work. Every community has a full set of 12 kinship groups within it. Every person over the age of 12 is assigned to a group. Each group, through the development of processes, appoints a lead man and lead woman, or head man and head woman, to represent them in the full kinship council. So every community will have one of these. Each kinship group has 9 to 13 advisory councils, stage of life groups organized by age and gender, to advise their group's head man and head woman on the needs, dreams, and abilities of their stage of life. A kinship group identifies themselves by the realm, either sky, earth, or water, and the color, white, yellow, red, and black, of their group. No other factor matters to membership in a group, not ethnicity or status or faith. Anything like that does not divide people in this system. So no matter what community they live in, members of the same kinship group are like relatives. So that means on all sides of the globe, if you're a white Thunderbird, all white Thunderbird are your kin, brothers and sisters. So you have that new line of strength in which to communicate and coordinate and organize. And then everyone in the kinship community identifies the watershed they live in, and they acknowledge it in their introduction of themselves. Next slide. So the advisory councils are groups within each kinship group arranged by age and gender to discuss the needs, issues, abilities, and responsibilities of that stage of life. The youth, middle adults, and seniors each have 2 or 3 gender groups, a female group, a male group, and if needed in community, a 2-spirit or non-binary group. Elders have 1 group inclusive of male, female, and 2-spirit together. Children don't have an advisory council, but are advocated for and cared for by all others. So at 12 years old, children will be adopted into a kinship group, and each community will develop their own protocols and processes for that. Each age and gender demographic group has a representative to represent the stage of life issues. Did I read that? Sorry. So the kinship council is made up of the headman and the headwoman from each of the 12 kinship groups. And in a comparison kind of way, that would be like a mayor and council. So next slide. Yeah, and so each kinship community is within a biosphere and connected to a watershed. And so when they are like introducing themselves, they would say, I am so-and-so of the such and such kinship clan or group of the, I'll say, Lake Simcoe watershed of the Greater Toronto bioregion. So they've already got a new way of looking at themselves and identifying themselves from their place on the planet. Further to that, you can also encourage everyone to adopt a species in their watershed that they pay particular care of the well-being of that thing, like from an otter to a bird to a plant species. So they add that, like, I am a caretaker of the otter, and thus I serve the whole community. I sit with the older women's council, senior women's council, and thus I serve the whole community. So we now have a way of identifying ourselves to attach ourselves to the earth, to our community, to the species that live in our watershed. Next slide. So we tried to think about what are some ways that we can look at society and divide it into like 12 identifiable sections that are part of the governance of community. So next slide. Yeah, so we need to look at that, and like that would be things like education, infrastructure, medicine, law. There's all these different areas that have to work together to provide for society and make it stable. Next slide. So in this particular way, we're very much reliant on the circle method of consultation. And once people learn how that works, and basically it's meant to give everyone in the circle a chance to use their voice. People can choose not to, that's their prerogative, but in this circle way, everyone will be consulted. And although it may seem like it's going to take too much time, if it's organized and once people know the system, they'll understand how you give your opinion on matters and can give it over to the next person. Next slide. So each community will have to develop their own protocols and code of conduct, but there are plenty of examples from the indigenous peoples all around the world on how to conduct circle properly. And I know a lot of people have been working with them lately and practicing that way of consensus consultation. Next slide. Right, so we'll be launching a website soon. We have a Facebook group, the Kinship Way, that you can join. And I think I'll be launching a Patreon to help with developing the ebook and all of the technology we're going to need if we decide collectively to launch something like this. And so with that, take a moment and then have a talk with once more. Oh, we've got another slide. Oh, right. This is making sure that we make space and allowance to have the two-spirit non-binary people, make sure they're included in the advisory councils. So I can't read all that right now, but there is a place at the table for everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful, Grandmother Becky, Big Canoe. It's such a delight to hear you share. The grandmothers are considered the eternal wisdom keepers, and what you're sharing, in my lifetime, the grandmothers have always spoken through me, and recently they're really amping up the call, and Global Grandmothers Council Network is a response to this call. And one of the things I remember is you were one of the first grandmothers back in April that said, oh, what the world needs now. And so I'm just so deeply grateful that you who have chosen to show up here today, the strength of what we're doing is based on reciprocity. We, the grandmothers and the spiritual leaders and the voices for the voiceless, we're only as strong and respected and successful as those of you that are our community, our circle, that feedback support for us.
I sure do.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, my son, bless him, he's the one that's keeping me going to still show up right now, this next leg of my life. And he said, the world needs this right now, Mom. But I have been weighted down heavily with, I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer. And it sounds like you've always been a dreamer. And one of the things that I want to share is every dream I've ever dreamt has manifested. And so I hear your dream, and for the whole globe, actually the whole universe. And how do you respond to, that's too big of a dream? Oh, that's too much work.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of like it seems like it's in the realm of the inconceivable because it means a lot of radical collaboration and working together, being willing to go through the initial getting used to the whole idea and, trying to move the old program out of our mind that tells us that we just need to elect a person and they're going to fix everything. That has proven itself to not be true at all and to be very corruptible. So we have to develop a system that encompasses us all, um, gives us all a home, a place, a role, a responsibility. And this is all for the benefit of our children. This is what
Yes.
I think we need to keep that center of mind always is what is best for the children.
Mhm.
Um, we take a look at the way we're educating them today was developed 200 years ago for a different kind of system and it's not good for them anymore. We need new ways, and the only way to do that is for us to sit together and figure out how we're going to do it.
Mhm.
We can't just let someone tell us what's going to happen because we know where that gets us. We need some common sense, some real concern, and the way we raise our children is the society we're going to have in the future.
Yes.
We can
Yes.
bring back so much indigenous wisdom. We can take the very best of Western knowledge and education and combine it, which is something we should have done a long, long time ago.
Mhm.
Um,
One of the things I've seen is that we are voicing a deep instinctual sound, song, vibration, wisdom. And one of the ways we curse Creator, the maker of all things, the holiest of holies, is to say, that can't be done. We can't do that. That's beyond me. That's cursing, because all that we are is one with the holiest of holies for the good of 7 generations back and 7 generations to come, and for this sweet Mother Earth and all her family.
well, I can't remember which of our ancestor leaders said it. I think it was Black Elk. It's like when the people in the earth need renewal, a vision will come for that time. And
Mhm.
I think this is one of them, one of many.
Mhm.
I think like the eventual gift of it would be that all these great ideas and programs and things that people have worked really hard on would give them a much better like way to deploy and see them come to reality too because you can use and when I think about the kinship way and how in our past ways we had beautiful songs and dances and rituals and ceremonies in our clan groups, the um the artistic expression that can come from the development of new kin songs and dances and ceremonies because they will include multicultural influences, and I think it might at some time reflect that vision that may have been Crazy Horse had that said he sees one day that the world will be composed of a hoop of many hoops.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I think the kinship way will end up looking like.
And I'd like to insert, that's what this Global Grandmothers Council organization website is all about.
Yeah.
That this is an unprecedented time for women, especially the wisdom keepers, the elders, and the young, to have a voice, to be respected, and to have the opportunity to do counsel, do circle, and be a collective, honoring the similarities and honoring the uh, cultural uniqueness. And so I know that I was supposed to put a plug in for the Global Grandmothers Council org website. Right now, all of you that are tuning in, this is such a powerful manifestation. It's being magnified 1,000 times our own time. And that you are responding to the call, one of the ways you can help is join. Every woman can join free as a seed. Those of you that are like me or you, Grandmother Becky, that have a course, a program, a teaching story, we can join at a different level, but we're making this an academy, a network of universal wisdom from the stars and back. And so please consider doing a donation. Mayana in the background, is there anything else that you'd like me to insert right now? I know that there were responses coming from the audience. Mayana, are you there?
Hi. Okay, I'm here. Yes. Yes, we are inviting you really to look at this as a movement to preserve the wisdom of our grandmothers, to preserve it and gather it in a library so we can then together offer it to the world in combined ways. Whereas, like Grandmother Becky, that was beautiful. The description of what we need to bring together. And some of us have other pieces of your kinship way that we can weave it together. We can make larger programs and movements out of our each individual work by coming together.
Yes, that's exactly the idea.
Yeah.
All of the
Many of us
in.
Yeah, many of us have worked with Barbara Marx Hubbard's Wheel of Co-Creation, and it's grown and spun and expanded and changed in different people's hearts and hands. And there's the growing from the grassroots up that's happening, that we are, it's so clear to me that the tree of love stands in the middle of Grandmother's garden, and we are the ones that are designing what's the flowers and fruits and nuts, what are we planting in the garden around it, so that we can plant a garden where children can play and grow and be protected under the branches of the tree, with all of the elders surrounding them, protecting them. This is about it. While right now it's about us gathering, it's really about for the future generations. So we can provide the space and the content and the society and the systems that they can grow up in beautiful ways.
Exactly.
One of the things that's so heart-rendering about this network is, yes, we have a Facebook page with 55,000 women, but it's not a safe place to talk about sacred things. Our grandchildren are even putting pictures up. And so our website is a safe zone for us to be creative and honoring and putting it out there. I think that's so important that people, women, get it together. This is very important what we're doing right now.
Yeah, the website, the platform has different spheres that you can go to. There's a marketplace, an academy, and these are just little tiny babies. Be gentle with us there. And then if you click join and you go into the Grandmother's Garden circle, you can join councils. You can help us lead. We need grandmothers of wisdom to come in and say, this is how my heart's service, I want to lead this. And then we surround and support and hold hands and together bring bigger things out.
Also,
I'll be using the platform to put the Kinship Way in there, so people want to come in and contribute, work with me on that. I can't wait until that happens.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yes.
one of the things about the website and computers is a lot of people of my generation, it's just phenomenal. They hear what we're doing and they're going, I'm not computer savvy. I can barely get to Facebook. And one of the things we've building in is an angel system, so that you want to join and it's really foreign territory. Well, there's people volunteering to be with you side by side to get you into the program. And if there's grandmothers that or women that have a passion, say, for advocacy of women in leadership and business, that we are able to present them and have them create a council and take it off.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the potential in a garden is so full and so rich, and it's your wisdom and my wisdom woven together that makes it stronger and makes it, because this really is a foundation for the new world. We are, tending our roots. We are in the roots of the garden, where those little tender strings. Oh yes.
This is my Sacred Grove Common Roots gourd that I have to make manifest before I can write about it. And I did this in 2007. And this is about knowing that we humans are trees. We bridge heaven and earth. And when we join a circle of trees, a sacred grove, we're led by the magnificent light. But this is all about all the different trees.
It's beautiful.
And when I showed this to Mayana this morning, she says, that's our symbol. That's Global Grandmother Council symbol.
It's our logo.
It's a Celtic heart. It's a Celtic heart.
Yeah.
Common roots.
I love it. Oh, welcome back, Grandmother Becky.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to step out for a second.
That's okay. So do you have some words of nourishment and comfort and love for the people from your perspective for right now?
Yeah, it's becoming such an intense time. We're currently being inundated with things. We're wondering, is it true or is it false? Speaking in regards to these drone sightings and things like that, they just sort of seem to be whipping us into a frenzy. And I want everyone to try and stay calm, wait and see what happens there. I don't know what the heck, the plan is, but I think we need to just rely on each other to stay calm. So I send out, encouragement to be aware, but don't be influenced by these things that are going on. Stay grounded to the earth. Just, give thanks for the things you have in your life, and realize that, we are on our way towards making a better world for the children. And keep pictures in your mind of beautiful, healthy, vibrant, laughing children. As grandmothers, that's the most joyful thing that we can see. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
I tell my granddaughters all the time that I'm doing this for them, and that they're my little medicine helpers. And I want to encourage all you people, women that are having to do the work in between the elders and the children. God has blessed you. Keep on taking one more step and one more step, and let your children watch these interviews. Let them see what grandmothers look like. And the thing that I am so excited is that on our website, we've got a whole section for the children. Like I have got a story I want to tell my grandchildren, and I'm getting it illustrated, and poetry and songs. It's like it's just a positive, life-sustaining, glorious place, returning to the garden and with our common roots, filled with joy and beauty and flowers.
Lots of flowers. Because in the garden we have flowers and we have seeds and we have fruits and nuts. You know, the seeds, boy, those are all of our potential, and that's the free membership. Just come in, be a seed, and then decide where you want to plant yourself in the garden. And the flowers have grown and they smell and look beautiful, and they really just beautify and enrich the whole space. And then the fruits and nuts are those who've really done some work, and it's grown, and now we're feeding the community with our service.
So all such beautiful, beautiful metaphors. Beautiful.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs, and as a call and response, might be nice to close down this chapter, and it's called I Am the Circle. And so I'll sing a line, and then you will sing it back to me. It's a tremendous song. So getting in our tree pose so that we can breathe fully, turning everything over to the highest good. It goes, oh, nope, the wrong one. I am the circle and you are healing me.
I am the circle and you are healing me.
United people, we are one.
United people, we are one.
I am one and you are one and we are one together.
I am one and you are one and we are one together.
United people, we are one.
United people, we are one, we are one.
We are one, we are one, we are one together.
We are one, we are one, we are
one together.
That was nice.
Dale has a question for Becky. Dale Hamilton, how's it going with the Milwaukee Land Trust project?
Oh, it's going well, Dale. So many wonderful developments coming along. From the EFAO conference we were at last couple weeks ago, some beautiful offers to share land and mentor young people in agriculture and livestock raising and things like that. It's looking like it's going to be a fantastic year to come. We will have land to do things on. I'm so excited for that. Really excited.
Oh, that's beautiful. What is your idea of your first project?
In our first project, we have a beautiful piece of property given to us in northwest of Toronto. We call it the Kingland. We have yet to rename it, but beautiful forest and hills up on the Oak Ridges Moraine. And we're going to build a turtle lodge out of alternative building materials. We're going to use hay, hempcrete, and earth bag construction to make a big turtle lodge for us to gather in. And then we'll have a series of teepees on the hillside and a sweat lodge and a gathering kitchen where we can all just get together and do wonderful things on the land.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's really how we nourish each other, isn't it?
And we'll also this year be launching the process of bringing together the grandmother councils that will steward the land. Like it will be them who makes the decisions based on what they know their community needs. So they'll be the responsible ones.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, we are in grandmother's time, aren't we? We are.
See,
The grandmothers are calling us, and we are calling us. And this is our response. As Suzanne said earlier, that there's a call to the all. It's not just the one or two of us. We are all called. That's how it grew to 55,000 all at once without us doing any advertising or promotion. It's magnetic, and we gathered, and we're here in this Facebook group, and we're kind of going, okay, what do we do now? How do we come together? And for us, how do we even reach our members? So it's things like this that we're doing to offer our members something real for their lives, something rich that they can grow with.
yeah,
So
just like that mycelial network that you mentioned at the beginning, thinking about the tree and the roots and the new roots connecting into the mycelial network. It's just beautiful imagery. And I also like to acknowledge the 13 Indigenous grandmothers who I believe formed something like 20 plus years ago and have been doing incredible work to teach and heal and help people and get our voice out there to the Indigenous folks. Give all my honor to them and the grandmothers of the past.
You know, I had the good fortune of sitting with them, by Zoom a couple weeks ago when they did their 20-year reunion, where the 13 original grandmothers that are still in physical form and their families showed up. And I've been wanting to do a write-up because I was so touched by the humbleness of the remaining grandmothers. One lady was from Ecuador or deep south, and she comes forward, and like Grandmother Florida Mayo, they are so humble. It's like, golly, how did I end up here and speaking for all the women of the world? And that's where Global Grandmothers Council Network can come together is, yes, we are humble. Yes, we're belly to the Mother Earth. Yes, we bleed and for all our relations. But this humble Ecuadorian grandmother went on to say that they met with the Dalai Lama, and I have had the good fortune of Grandmother Florida Mayo telling me some stories that haven't been made public. But when this grandmother spoke, she said, when I originally got the invite to the 13 grandmothers, I couldn't respond because I didn't have a role there. But I've shown up, and then here I was with the delegation with the Dalai Lama, and who should he ask to come forward and stand beside him? Me, she said. And so she said, she went up and head down, and the Dalai Lama was patting her on the arm and hugging her, and she said, "Women of the world, it's time to be done with being humble. We are the great mothers, the grandmothers of all humanity." And the Dalai Lama said, "I'm the grandfather of all humanity." So
I want to mention a friend of mine who over a month ago went on a trip to the Vatican with the Mamos people, the Sierra Madres, I believe, take him a message. And then she also went to the Mediterranean and then to Israel and Tel Aviv, and she's still over there doing ceremony and stuff like that. And perhaps in the future we can ask her to come in and do a live talk about what she's done over there. But I just want to acknowledge my friend Bev Jones, who's got quite a story. And I was just talking to her this morning, and I can't wait till she's back home.
I do plan on doing that through the year. Hamayana, maybe
yes.
We want to do that.
Yes. Yeah, we want to feature grandmothers every week, And then we have a magazine that we've just launched. Kalina Baines created a magazine, and I'll put it in the YouTube notes. I don't have the link for it right here right now, but it's a fabulous magazine, and will feature a grandmother a month in the magazine and a grandmother a week live in the Facebook group. And then we might even have some on the ground events this coming year. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful things coming up that are just growing naturally and organically. And we're looking to see how it's all going to emerge. But right now, we got to tend our roots.
Well, if people want to come and join the Kinship Way group on Facebook, they're welcome to. And then I'll post things there. And then those of us who will be working on it together, maybe through Grandmother's Garden, we'll do updates, and we may even have some events to schedule for the summertime as well.
Yeah,
Cool.
You know, I'm on the events council. The core council has taken on many hats to manifest. So on the events calendar, that would be a place that you'd register even what you shared today.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's something immediately that the garden nuts and fruits can get going for you. And once you're there, then you can have an option for the participants to give input if they choose to, say, I live in New Mexico. I'd like to do the Kinship Way. What are the next steps?
Yeah.
And I'm sharing this with you because I started out on Monday or on the 12th with water medicine, and I've got to do the same things. And that's what I wanted to let the people know is that, oh man, the amount of structure and form and ingeniousness of divine love and the mothership and Mayana. We have one of the most advanced websites I've ever seen, but we got to fill it in now. So that's our homework. And so please, when you go on to the garden, you can talk to us and make posts. And we're meeting. We're doing this right now, but so let's grow together. Let's grow together.
Definitely. Nobody can do it like grandmothers can.
And you can find the local grandmothers, as we fill up with grandmothers, you can search the members and find out who lives close to you and start working on the ground, because that's so important that we begin working in our communities together and start, even forming the councils that might advise our county commissioners and our cities and our towns and states. We have the wisdom that the world needs. We just need to gather together and step up and use our voices. So come play in Grandmother's Garden. It's going to be a fun play that's rich and full. And yeah, there might be moments of grinding and, and digging and making things happen. But it'll be a joy to our hearts because we're doing it together. And that's what's so rich.
One step at a time, patience, enjoying present moment, beautiful moment. And one divine just said, it's time to make it clear that we're ready to close. And so we could do our closing video. The deepest of gratitude in the season of the giveaway. What a giveaway you have given. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.